It is your destiny.
Fuck my destiny.
What's the name of the game that we are playing? Well, whenever I think that we are winning, then you roll the dice, take a slide right back to the one from 99. Is it gonna go on like this forever? Are we gonna take that last step together, going round and round and up and down? Feels just like snakes and ladders. Baby, don't it feel?
Hello, I'm Jashykins. This is
Revrezner.
and a Balthazar. What did you think of the movie Jobs?
Okay, this is what happened. I went in, and first of all, no airplanes. What a ramp. Total misleading. I thought there were going to be talking animated planes, but no. Just white people, and an Indian guy, and some guy named Wozniak. Anyways, so, starts out okay, and it's kind of boring, yeah, blah, blah, blah. A hippie with no shoes, smells like poop, got it, gross. And they go to India, blah, 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 nothing new. And then, it started getting really cold in this movie theater. And next thing I know, there's like a rough thing on my face. And it's very uncomfortable.
Did it sort of feel like Rev's beard?
Maybe. And then, there was no freaking blanket, so my little tootsies got cold. And then,
You idiot, you slept through the damn movie again.
oh yeah. But the critics were loud. The end. I do good?
Yeah, you did very good. And now
Dumbass.
let's get on to the actual review of the film.
No, we're good. We got everything we need.
No, we just got your sorry ass. Anyways, Jobs, to me, Jobs was a fucking train wreck. It went on for too fucking long. Weren't you bringing up the fact that you thought it ended multiple times?
Yeah, every 10 minutes the movie seems like it could end or go to commercial break, but most likely end. And I think the whole idea was that they knew how bad it was and they just thought, no, we're just torture people. The movie skips around everywhere. It's very hard to follow the movie.
Yeah, the movie doesn't fucking seem to care about any good form of storytelling. You know me, I love B movies. I have seen better B movies than this shit. Because they can actually tell a story.
The movie's supposed to be a biopic about Steve Jobs, and really, it seems like it's going to be that in the beginning, but in the end, it's just a film about Steve Jobs and Apple. Apple, 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 iPod. That's where the show ends. It's Steve Jobs revealing the iPod.
No, that's how it begins.
It begins and it ends. Sexting place, okay? That's where the time period of the movie covers. It covers from him dropping out of college and him revealing the iPod. It's obviously those are important times of his life, but
They don't match up. It's like, hey, here's an important part. Oh, we're just going to forget about it after this scene.
it really, if you consider the time period, it just covers him and his involvement with Apple. Not many years before that, and when I say years, I mean about minutes. About his life before any involvement with Wozniak and Apple. It shows Wozniak when Wozniak first makes his appearance when Steve calls him up and asks for help doing his job at Atari. Which and Steve Jobs is an asshole in real life. It's well known. He's a dick. He's very hard to work with. He's for the longest time did not shower, never liked shoes.
Oh yeah,
He's a real hippie.
Yeah, there were a couple of scenes, where he just wasn't wearing any shoes at
Yeah.
all. Walking around campus, no
I mean,
shoes.
Atari had to fight him just to get him to wear shoes, and they make us. The Atari thing was really, really quickly covered. He did work at Atari for a while, not super long, but it showed right then how much of a dick Steve Jobs was because he cut out Woz out of money. And this is Steve Jobs who that's supposed to not really care about money. It's more about work and stuff. He's a hippie, but for some reason he's a hippie who loves money. So, they said they're paying him so many thousands of dollars to fix these troublesome game boards, for the arcade machines back then. And he calls Woz up, and Woz loves doing this stuff. He's more a general person. Money's not a big thing to him. He just wants to be cool. He wants to fix things. He likes to build stuff. So when Woz asks him how much are they getting paid for it,
he
lies. Lowballs him down from thousands of dollars to a few $100.
Yeah, maybe $800.
And in the end he gave him a few extra $100, maybe $150, $200 more. I can't remember the exact amount. And that was it, like a bonus, whatever. And this went on for a while, by the way. The film only shows it happening once, but that was pretty much common what they did.
Okay, that was such dickish move. Someone on Twitter asked me about, do they glorify Jobs? Well, they don't cut back on saying that he's a dick, like in that instance, is giving someone who's really doing your fucking job not even half of the pay.
Steve Jobs just thinks that he needs to be in charge of everything, and that's probably the only way he was ever going to make it anywhere in life is if he was in charge. And he is very eccentric, but sometimes he takes it too far. So,
I hardly ever comment about a soundtrack on a movie because personally, my view on music is if I like it, I like it. And I can't really discuss about all the intricacies, so I just usually stay away from the soundtrack, and usually a movie soundtrack doesn't attract me anyway, so I have no reason to. But dear fucking Lord, the soundtrack on this movie it scarred me. I know the music
I didn't even know
plays.
the soundtrack.
Oh,
it was very boring.
It was not good. I'm commenting on it. It wasn't fucking good. It scarred me.
Yeah. It was shot well. The cinematography's fine. They used the original house that Steve Jobs, Steve's mother and father's step parents, his adopted parents, I guess that's how you say it. Because he was abandoned as a child, which
was covered in
very
like
ironic.
One sentence in the fucking movie.
Yeah. So he's adopted by them, and that's where Apple started, in a garage. They used the actual house. I don't know how they convinced whoever was living there. Maybe nobody was living there at the time. And they shot right there. You can find pictures online of it. It's shot in the house, every scene. Very few sets had to be created. I'm not sure about the first Apple headquarters because I think that was gone. But, the whole movie kind of cuts off. I think the reason they cut off at just the iPod is, honestly, I think is for a little bit of the budget reason where they could get the former, the Apple headquarters that everybody has known for the last decade or so, this huge, massive, cool place, that they moved out of recently, was probably empty, and they were able to shoot there because Apple supposedly had no involvement with this, which I'm pretty sure they don't really want to talk about. Oh yeah, we threw the CEO on his ass, or the former CEO and founder out on his ass, and let him take all the people that he helped and rip them off. But no, but all of the first 8 people that helped out in the garage, that were the founders of Apple, all of them were willing to help except one, the young 14-year-old. He was actually 14. They kind of got his age wrong in the movie, but he was only 14 when he started building boards with them, and he started studying to do this. He was a little whiz of a kid anyways. He still works for Apple today. He's head up there, and you see that near the end of the movie he's still working there. So he tweeted that he, due to legal reasons, he can't comment on any of the technical aspects or anything of the film, but he did say he enjoyed it. Very generic tweet. I'm pretty sure either he was high, drunk, or had a gun to his head to tweet something positive. So, and I'm sure he was just biting through his lip the whole time, like, motherfuckers got that wrong. So, Steve Wozniak was a technical advisor on the film, but he has stated many times that it's not a good movie. They did not use his advice. It was already scripted and written out.
Yeah, so when they did call him up, it was
what
like...
was he going to do?
Yeah, it was just like a basically useless gesture, like, hey, we tried to do something.
He recommends something and they kind of just, okay, yeah, we're going to do this instead. It's not uncommon, I guess, in that situation where they've already planned something out and then they find out it's complete horse shit. Well, we're trying to make a movie. You're supposed to be making a biopic.
Well, they failed at making a movie. What they did was seeing different scenes, and with a movie, you're trying to tell a story. So I knew going into this biopic that it probably wouldn't have, there would be a lot of inconsistencies with reality. But I was like, as long as they tell it well, as long as they make it enjoyable, I'll enjoy it. But the problem is, the soundtrack, the plot doesn't seem to fucking care about itself.
Well, one major problem with the movie is they focus on a lot of things that are not so important, and they skip over major things that happen in his life. They spend a lot of time showing Jobs going through paperwork when he was about to be removed from his company, from Apple, trying to find out where all the money went, and in reality, a lot of it went down in the Lisa, which was a very failed first GUI computer GUI, with mouse, keyboard, it was all in one unit, smaller than the Mac, original Macintosh and Mac Plus, but the first system they built, named after his daughter.
Abandoned. We'll talk about that more in part 2.
It's covered by, this is a computer that the company wasted so much money into, sold so few that they literally had to take almost an entire warehouse of these computers and take them to a landfill and have them destroyed. And they spilt so much money on this project, because they always like to use the best parts, they say, on everything, and that's where a lot of the money went to. And then they started pouring more money into Apple, and that's when into the Macintosh. That's when they had a lot more problems. But they spent a lot of time watching him going through paperwork, pacing back and forth, trying to keep his ass off the line. They skip over. They could have just spent half as much time on that. We still would have gotten the point, and spent more time on things like when they're tripping acid, he starts crying how he couldn't understand how somebody could abandon their child, talking about himself.
But tripping scenes are much more important than actual plot.
Yeah, that was a pretty long, fucked up scene too. Yeah. And then when it comes down to him, his girlfriend at the time telling him that she's pregnant, Steve Jobs literally throws her out right then and there, because Apple's about to go public. They just get investors. They're about to do this, and he just can't handle it. He says, "You can't do this to me now." This is they spend more scene on him trashing shit in his house than actually talking about him giving up all the rights to the child. Because next you see them in Apple. He's the CEO of it. He's walking through their pretty decent sized building with Apple IIs are being built, and the Lisa's being designed. And you just see a lawyer come in, and he's still denying that it's his daughter. It's obviously his daughter. The girl's name